Hey guys, Unfrequented World. Thanks for joining me for another trail cam adventure. This week I have moved about 40 miles from home and we own a farmstead out in the little town I grew up in. We own 160 acres and it's kind of like our own little private reserve. We don't hunt there unless we're having a really bad year. In the usual places we hunt, then we can come here and kind of do a bit of baiting, a bit of trail camming, and check out the property. I was in here last week for a little run, and we've got a sign which I'll show you guys. It clearly says private keep out, and of course nobody pays any heed to that. There was four-wheeler tracks going down the trail here, so I put up my trail cams and I've left them now for 5 days, and it's time to go in and get them and see what's going on. This isn't the first time we've had a problem with trespassers. Here actually my dad came in to do some bird hunting and he found the guy in here in full camo with a rifle hunting on our property, and asked him to leave, and gave him a warning, said, you know, we don't ever want to see you in here again. And my dad came back 4 days later, and the guy had a blind set up at this point and a food plot, and he was still hunting, so my dad charged him. Anyway, after the fellow was charged, other things came to light. There was a bunch of poaching going on here on our property, and it was a pretty severe fine that the guy got. Lost his license for a couple years. Well, there, guys, is the private keep out sign on the only four-wheeler trail on our 160 acres. So it's clearly marked, and yet people are still going in here. And we have two roads. The road here runs down a quarter mile and then all the way down this way down our property, and it's clearly marked with red circles on trees. And that is no trespassing, and you cannot plead ignorance. So if you tell someone, well, I didn't know that a red circle meant no trespassing, you can still be charged. So you have to be very careful, guys. Make sure the property you're on is not private. So I've made it to my second camera, and I don't know if you can see on the phone, but right here is a trail, and this trail was cut by the guy that owns the property attached to ours. And this is all our property. Our property goes right to the road out there, another 400 yards. And he cut this trail to get into our property. Because we had left it so long without checking on it, I guess, he figured it was his right. So I've set up my camera here, and I'm going to set up a few more. I don't have any use for people that go on other people's property. None. So all clear, guys. I don't think there's been anybody in here in the last 5 days. I still have to check the bushnell, but it said 8 captures, and that was probably just us going out on the bikes. So if there is anything, I'll post it in the video, but I don't think there is. So I'm just walking through the bush here, and I notice this little green guy on my arm, and it looks like a baby praying mantis. Geez, he's super tiny. I didn't know we had those things up here, if that's what it is. Anybody out there know what that is? Hey, there you go, buddy. No, climb onto the tree. This is a catch and release program. You're being released. There you go. Have a nice life. Back from the post office, and the Browning trail cam mounting brackets came in. I ordered 2 of them, and I had tried making my own, but the problem was securing it to the tree. And these have a double strap system, so they should secure nice to the tree. And there's a ball joint in here, and you just twist in 2 pieces by hand to tighten the ball joint into whatever position you want the camera to stay in. They weren't cheap. They were about $40 Canadian each, and that includes taxes and shipping. But they should be tool-free setup, so that's what I'm after. So let's get them out of the boxes. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you what comes in the package. You get 2 thumb screws. You get the plate that holds this arm in place against this mounting bracket, which goes against the tree. Has a hole here for your cable lock on it. So what you do is to mount it, you remove this tightener off the arm. Okay, then you just put the mounting plate over top of it, and then it gets secured in place by the 2 thumb screws. So very simple to use. So then if you wanted the camera pointing down at the ground, you could put it like that, or up in the air you would put it like that. And however you want it, when you get it exactly where you want to position, you just tighten the thumb screws down. And then this does not move anymore. So should be fairly sturdy. Let's get it out in the bush and see how it actually performs. Secure your ladder before you start filming. Oh, the look on my face probably was priceless right there. I was just going to show you guys. Part of the reason I wanted to do the mounting brackets is so I can raise my cameras up off the ground, just in case it makes it harder for somebody who wants to steal them. I put cable locks on all of them, but if somebody wants it, they're just going to cut it off. Where if I can get it up 10 feet off the ground, it might just be too much trouble for them to get up here and get it. So I'm on my own property right now, so it's not a problem. But anyway, let's get it on this tree here. Okay guys, there it is mounted on the tree. I gotta say it doesn't do anything about the hideability of it now that you've got 2 straps on there. So I mean, it's really easy to see by humans, I mean. But anyway, it does the trick. Here's the camera here, and now we can move the camera into any position we want. Point it down the trail, and I'm going to use the little screen to point it exactly where I want it, and then we're just going to tighten it down with these, and we should be good to go. Okay, well there's a problem, guys. I had this tightened all the way down with the camera sitting on it, and I had screwed this up tight against the bottom of the camera, and when I put the cable lock on it, the camera was turning just a 1/4 inch, and so it was moving the whole field of view of the camera. So I tried to tighten it all the way down, both of these, and when I turned it so that the camera's actually tight, it's facing this way, which is the complete wrong direction. So then I went to untwist it, and the rubber here is coming right off the bottom. So make of that what you will. I'm going to see if I can get this to point in the right direction. If I can't, you'll hear about it. Okay guys, so here's the problem that I have with this system. So you don't want to turn this camera all the way in tight, because then it's facing the wrong direction. So you're supposed to be able to turn this up and lock it into the bottom of the camera. Like this. And that's supposed to be able to lock it down into place. Right? And I've done this with 2 hands with the camera down, but I'm just trying to show you guys. Tighten this up into the base of the camera. It's still very movable. So what happens when you're fighting with the cable lock to put it on, it's moving the camera out of position. And then you can't open the door because the door is being held locked by the cable lock. So then you've got to undo everything and open it and reposition it. This is wonky. I'm going to try 2 hands to tighten this down, and then I'll show you. Okay, so I used 2 hands, and as tight as I could get it. And I mean, now it's fairly locked in position. You could probably put the cable lock on it, but man, the rubber peeled off on that so easily. It's a bad setup, guys. Bad. Okay guys, there's the camera up in the tree. You know, it's up there 10, 11 feet, so it's out of reach from everybody. I like the bracket. It's nice and secure to the tree and everything. I don't like the tightener system on the bottom of that arm. It's garbage. So if you're listening, Browning, redesign that. And here's the other instance, guys, that I wanted to use my trail camera on, but couldn't, and that's a tree that has a real slant to it. I got this nice little log here that I want to put some bait on, and I could never mount my trail camera here because it would be pointing up in the air. So now you can see, guys, with that mount on the tree, the direction my camera would be facing would be impossible to get the shot I want, which is looking right here at this log. So the mount makes that possible, but I also want to show you, again, same problem with this bracket as the other one. No doubt in my mind it was going to be the same, but I've tightened that as hard as I can with both hands. And I mean, look, I can still move this camera, like, not taking very much effort to move it. So when you go to put your strap through there, it's going to move. Alright, today's treat, guys, is half a container of leftover hummus. Roasted red pepper hummus at that. So We'll see if my fisher likes that or not. So setting the cable lock through the system here actually did exactly what I said it was going to do, and that's knocked my camera all out of whack from where I had it pointed. So, and I actually found that I could not get this tight enough with the rubber seal on the bottom here still in place. When it tore off the other camera on the other mounting bracket, it actually tightened up when I used both hands, and I don't know that a female trail cam enthusiast would be able to put that much torque on there to get it to stay, but I managed to get the other one to stay, but this one I cannot. It moves around, so not super happy about that, but I love that the mounting bracket takes you know, any position I want. I can now mount this, any crooked tree, up in the air and down. It's a great concept. It just needs a better tightener on the bottom. Alright guys, I hope that hummus does the trick, but while we're waiting, why don't you check out this week's photography, which took place at Descheny Falls. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week in my next trail cam adventure.